Alright, today I'm going to be looking at how to reassemble or assemble for the first time a Game Bird. So here you can see I have all the parts laid out. Here's going to be the Raspberry Pi, here's the UPS power board, and here's the game hat. Then we have an assortment of screws and risers. We have the card, the SD card. In this case it's a Samsung, but I'm not going to be using those moving forward. It'll be PNY, 64 gigabyte. Then we have the buttons, some more printed risers, the top case and the bottom case, and then the keychain. You are going to need a small Phillips head screwdriver, and you might need some tweezers or a flat tool of some sort. I'm just going to use a even smaller screwdriver for that, but I'll explain that later. Alright, the first step, of course, is to get the power board connected to the Raspberry Pi. And to do that, you're first going to want to attach risers to the board so that it comes up enough to attach the board. I've already actually put the battery here onto this Waveshare UPS hat. But what you would normally do is it has a little sticker on the back. You just peel the plastic off and you attach the battery just like this so that the cable's coming out this side, and then you just connect it like that. Very easy. Pretty simple. You just want to make sure you get it far enough back that you're not covering up any electronics too much. You just want it kind of out of the way. And that's how that works. So this part is pretty straightforward. You're going to use these screws and connect them in through the back. Then for each one, you're going to take one of these and screw it on. Then I recommend taking a screwdriver and just tightening those up a little. Okay, and that's it for the battery UPS hat. We're going to carefully take our Raspberry Pi, and this is going to sit on it with the power pins connecting here to this part, these pins that are sticking up. So you want it to look like this. That's the correct orientation, because this board is powering the Raspberry Pi, so it's sending power directly through the back here at these solder points. So now we're going to take these guys. We're just going to kind of loosely get them started at this point. There's going to be some pressure coming back from this cable here that's plugged in. It's going to be pushing up slightly. So that's why I don't want to torque these down yet. I want to get everything in position first. And that will help move those cables in the proper direction. So just kind of getting the threading started. Okay, once we have them all on, now we can start torquing them down. If you do have a small wrench, that could be useful. I have yet to use one, but I've always thought about how nice that might be. You can just use your fingernails if you're careful. You just want to be sure not to touch the board, except on the outside edges. And if you can use a static electricity wristband, even better. And if you can discharge any static electricity you have on your person, even better as well. that's good. Get this last one. Okay, so now the Raspberry Pi is fully connected to the power UPS hat. So now we're going to take the game hat, the Game Pi 13 by Waveshare. It has the speaker and all our buttons and LCD screen. So what we're going to do is very carefully line this up with the pins. I'm going to set it on top like that. And what I like to do is position my thumbs here and here, kind of just inside the lower buttons. And then I'm going to position my fingers here, like this. And then I'm going to push with my thumbs until it clicks all the way in. You can see there's going to be a little bit of a gap, and that is to be expected. So now this can technically rock a little bit. We actually want to rock it back all the way, just enough so that there's space to put our risers in here, which are going to be these guys here. I find doing this with tweezers to be kind of ideal. One thing that's going to be tricky is you need gravity on your side. So I kind of need to position the camera downward. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the pin on here. I'm going to try and insert it into the hole here so that this is sitting vertically. And then I'm going to do it with the next one. And once I get those sitting in place, I'm going to push this down like that. So now it's holding them in place, and now this is perfectly positioned how it needs to be for the case to work. We don't want to forget our SD card. I'm just going to come around here, and you can see this is the spot for the SD card. You have the metal pins going down. And that just slides in like that. That's done. Okay, now we have our bottom case. Before I actually put it into the bottom case, I want to actually get the L and R buttons in first, because this is going to slide such that you really want those buttons in, or you're not getting them in after it's already in there. So I'm just going to take these guys, that's these here, and I'm going to put this upside down so gravity's on our side. These just drop in like that. So now you can see it's perfectly flush. Okay, and then one thing to note before inserting is I have to be careful about this 1/8 inch jack, the audio jack. I don't want that to get caught on the case. So I'm going to go ahead and gently insert it. But you can see it catches right there, right? Right there, because it sits flush inside the case. So what I need to do is peel this back just a tiny bit. Oh, you can see, okay, so this is what will happen if you don't have gravity holding these L and R buttons down. They'll actually pop out. You don't want that. So I'm going to actually retract this a little bit. This is where having a thin tool comes in handy. I can push this out a little bit from the power port. Okay, so now that button has slid back down and it's flat. So now if I hold this with those L and R buttons facing down, and if I peel it back here just a little, this will pop right into place. And our L and R buttons are in the right spots. And you can see this is flush with the case. Okay, so now it's assembled, except for the faceplate and the button, or the power switch, I mean. And the power switch is kind of tricky, so I want to show you how that works. You want to carefully move this to the very center, like that, pretty much as close as you can get it. It's going to try and spring back, so you have to be careful. There we go. That's pretty close. And this has a little hole in the middle. So what you want to do is try and position that hole so that it goes right onto the switch on the inside. And this one just popped right in. Look at that. And you can slide that to the off position. Perfect. So now we just need, oh yeah, I almost forgot. let's pretend that this ball bearing wasn't already in there. You need to remember to put the ball bearing into the left side where the D-pad's going to go, because the D-pad has a little space in the middle that rocks across that ball bearing. And that makes it so you can't press more than, 2 buttons at the same time. Very important detail. Let me put that in there. Okay, so now we have the case. We're going to flip this over and place our D-pad in. There is one small detail about the D-pad. It's actually longer in one dimension than it is the other, and that's because if you look at the buttons, one is longer. 2 of the buttons are further apart than the other 2. It's the vertical axis. So I don't have this marked right now, but in the future these buttons are going to have some kind of a marking where you can tell which way is which. But an easy way to tell just by looking at it, I've done this so many times I just know, but if I have it positioned like this, there's the same equal gap, or nearly so, on every side. Whereas if I rotate it the incorrect way, there's a giant gap at the top and bottom. Like, it's really obvious that it's wrong. So you want the gap to be the same. I can just look at these and know immediately. But anyway, so there's that. So I'm going to go ahead and place the buttons in here. Just kind of flip them over and drop them in. And if you need to push them down, you can use a tool like a screwdriver. Easy enough. Okay. Just kind of getting pushed all the way down. Just like that. I'm going to go ahead and get ready to connect these. So usually this will stay in, the ball bearing will stay put, but just in case it doesn't, you want to align this by putting the edge here inside the case, the bottom case. You want to just kind of fold it over like that. And then you push up here and it locks into place. And there you go. That's it. Now to attach this guy, the keychain, you want to insert it from the side facing the power port. And if you do that, it'll just slide right in. Let me do that again in front of the camera. Just push it in that side and it'll pop right out the other side. If you do it from the other direction, it won't be as easy. You might need a tool or something, but that's not necessary. Once you do that, you just loop it through like I just did. Just loop it through the big hole here, and then you can just pull it tight. What I like to do is pull in this direction, and it tightens all the way down. Now you've got your keychain back on, and then you can just turn it on. Assuming I had the battery charged. So now you can plug this thing in. You have a red light showing that it is charging. And we have a green light showing that it's on. So we'll give that a few seconds. There we go. So now we have power. It's fully assembled. And everything went in cleanly. So now we're ready to play. Just got to put some games on there. Alright, thanks for watching.